When our founder, Madhavan Nayar, envisioned an art resource for the students and public that would provide an immersive and impressive view of the evolution of modern art in India, little would he have imagined the MNF collection in the palm of our hands.
Now, I'd like to start by talking about how the museum as a concept has actually transformed over a period of time. They've become active agents of social change. They are reaching out to people. Now, this is a real milestone movement because so far the white cube, what we call the proverbial white cube, which is a rarefied, white painted, neutral gallery space with uniform lighting and so on, from that rarefied environment, we are now taking art into people's laps.
I think one of the important things that we do at the beginning of this very significant new partnership and engagement with the public at large is the fact that we are also giving an option in communicating with them and reaching out to the audience using Malayalam as communication language. For all those people here who are more comfortable in their mother tongue, I think this is a very significant thing, and I think it is a way for all museums to go. I think so. We are setting a standard. All that has changed in the last 20 or 30 years globally, and as well the winds of change are sweeping through our museums as well. Education is actually seen as a multidisciplinary kind of a project. It involves engagement. It is the first part. Many people would say that engagement and participation with the public is not really education. I beg to differ. Educators are part and parcel of this larger outreach project that every museum has a responsibility to do.
And this reminds us, I think, of the necessity of engaging stories and their central role in social change.
The most important thing is that it becomes an extremely effective tool of communication, which is basically education. Education is a form of communication. It's nothing more than that. The digitized tool that will be now made available by Google to all and everyone free of cost online is going to be a very, very effective tool in that process of communication, which we call education.
We need to aspire to museums so good that they attract tourists as much as the Louvre or the British Museum does. The link between our cultural heritage and tourism is too often overlooked. And that's how cultural capital contributes to development. Much of the world's tourism is culturally motivated. Museum tourism must be developed and recognized as an organized industry which uses cultural heritage as its backbone. Where cultural tourism is identified as part of an overall development strategy, a comprehensive plan for the identification, protection, and enhancement of heritage resources can be put in place, which is also vital for any sustainable effort. Museums in India have acted as custodians of art and culture so far, but their activity should not be limited to only having to collect, preserve, and share objects and materials of cultural, religious, and historical importance. In the 21st century, museums need to impart cultural education effectively and thereby strive to become agents of change and development.
The agency of culture to improve citizenship. It's a very interesting concept to the current situation, and converting that into a work of art, and then that active agency of the art begins there, both as an admixture of the artist's intent and the viewer's perception.
Do you think that the virtual world will replace the real museum experience? The thoughtful time, the pensive time that Katie and all of us have spent in museums, in that cafe, it will never do so. Instead, it gives us, people in the museums, it gives us an opportunity to speak to a large audience. And through that exchange of that conversation, bring those audiences into our museums. Because at the museum, the level of interaction, the engagement completely changes. And I think that this will be a landmark new step for this wonderful museum of ours the Cochin, the metropolis of Cochin, and indeed the entire state of Kerala has no other museum that provides access to the masters of our modern art.
I have experiences on a day-to-day basis at the museum that speak to what you've said.
Which is why the coming together of art and technology, as is the case today, is such an exciting prospect, for it effectively addresses many of the contemporary challenges being faced by our museums. It addresses the issue of access. Think about an NRI Malayali family based in the Gulf who can raise their children with access to meaningful resources on Kerala's rich syncretic traditions. It can also very well serve as a potent tool to address the issue of engagement through technology like virtual reality and augmented reality. Exhibitions will no longer be seen as idle entities, but be presented in a manner that stimulates our curiosity and willingness to explore the many conversations and collaborations that our plural cultures and heritage are based on. And it's been a revelation to enjoy the online storytelling that you've created. The exhibition on the emergence of modern Indian art is a reminder that the artists in Shanti Niketan and the Bengal School influenced and echoed the sentiments of a nation.
The old saying in Buddhism is about how when Buddha came to Banaras, and that's described as the event of coming down from the mountain to the marketplace.
And that's where I was happy to celebrate what you've done in the Kerala Museum today. We have to take it out of the realm of the courts and the corporate boardrooms and make it truly a treasure of the people. We need to democratize our cultural heritage. And I hope that the youth of Kerala will start with the Kerala Museum and then branch out to see all that's happening through technology elsewhere in the world. With this incomparable collection, the museum presents an opportunity for young and old alike to learn more about their world and to find themselves amidst and with others.